I grew up in the family. There was 4 boys. We had 180 acres of vegetables, a truck farm. And my father was one of the few Filipino farmers who was able to purchase land on the Yakima Indian Reservation. And we grew up in that small town. Predominantly the agricultural farmers were Filipino and Japanese. And as you know, that there's a number of orchards, tree orchards around there, but we were into trucking vegetables. And so we worked farms up until we graduated from high school when we were small, and we worked on the farm. And we actually also had some cattle, and we had about 40 acres of alfalfa and cattle pastures that we worked. And it was a hard time, but also in during that period we also had an opportunity to work in the canneries up in Alaska, which was brought to our attention by some of my father's and my mother's counterparts who were also settled, immigrated from the Philippines, who lived here in Seattle, who were either workers or leader or foremen or lead people in the canneries, and they needed some strong bodies to work in the canneries. And they did a lot of recruiting from the central Washington area, from the Wapato, Yakima Valley area, and Delano and Stockton in California, because they knew that those kids that came from those areas were really capable of doing that hard work in the Alaska canneries. So I guess it was something that most people, especially predominantly at that time, males, got an opportunity to work in Alaska. I mean, it was pretty much a rite of passage to work in Alaska at that time, and you were in the valley there, and you went up to work in Alaska and then came back to work in the fields.